see. Hey guys. Let me take this off. Hey. It's me, Eyes Live. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Guess what? I am still in this car. Yes. I see my co-host, Miss CEO Jessica K, is. Make sure my thing is up. Hey guys. There she is.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, guys. Before we get started, hey Terry, thank you so much for joining. Before we get started, since I haven't gone live in a while, first I want to thank you guys for joining, and especially you home care CEOs, because I know even though it's Friday, you are trying to make sure everything is set before the weekend. So we appreciate for you joining us right now. If you are an existing home care CEO, please do me a favor and drop the name of your company in the comments. Drop the name of your company. I want to shout you out. And if you are an aspiring home care CEO, meaning you want to start a home care business, please drop the name of your city or state in the comments, and we're going to get this started. Okay. All right. So make sure I got you. Okay. So really quick, you guys know me. I am Sean, aka the Savvy Business Chick, aka your #1 home care CEO, and I have the #1 home care boss out in these streets.
Okay.
On the live with me, and aspiring. Okay, we got some aspiring New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Thank you so much. Please allow me to read your comments slowly, because like I said, I wasn't expecting to be still in the car, but I ran into some Friday traffic out here in DC. But I want to introduce my co-host, guys. Graciously Aging Home Care, is licensed in Pennsylvania. Thanks for joining. So my co-host, her Instagram handle is at CEO_Jessica K. And Jessica, can you tell us a little bit about yourself before we get this party started?
Yeah. I mean, the little bit about myself is the party starting, honey. No, but yeah. So my name is Jessica K. I've been in the healthcare field for the past 17 or 18 years, I want to say. But only the past 14 years.
Okay, so she's a veteran, guys. We're going to call her a veteran because, she's past her 10-year mark. So she's a veteran in the home care streets.
Okay.
Hey, Carl, thanks for joining. So you said that you've been an owner. You've been a CEO for 14 years, but you've been in the home care industry for about you said 16, 18 years?
Probably about like 17. There's probably about 17 years total. Yeah,
okay,
so
how did that work? So tell us why there's a difference. How did that work? What was going on in those 4 years prior to
yeah. Well, it was about 3 years. So I started right out of high school.
Okay.
Started right out of high school. Just my backstory overall, I had 2 kids very young. By the time I turned 17, I was on my second kid. So I had my kids really young. I was still in high school. And right out of high school, I actually went to college. I graduated on time. Very smart. So I graduated on time. Went to college. Had my 2 kids.
This guy
and
is irritating me.
You okay?
I'm sorry. Yeah, like this guy is like.
I can't even hear you anymore.
Okay, yeah. I had a troll and I had a call coming through. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Like literally had a guy like riding beside me saying, "Ooh, ooh," and I'm like, "What is he doing?" So
Damn.
anyway, like I said, I wasn't expecting to be in the car. So go ahead. Shout out to all the mom bosses and dad bosses. But basically, you had two kids young. So now, what's going on? So you started outside of high school,
Yep.
and go ahead.
Yeah, so started out of high school, was in college at the time, as
Mm-hmm.
well as working for just a regular, like a home care agency in a group home. So
Okay.
that was like kind of the job to do without any formal education or anything like that. But like I said, I was still in high school at that time. I mean, still in college at that time. I was a freshman in college. But eventually, one did not I had to choose. It was either college or it's going to be work. It couldn't have been college because at the time I had two kids to take care of. So I had to work. You know what I mean? So I dropped out of college at that time and, really worked, back then. You talking about the pay only like 7 working at these agencies. So you're having to put 60, 70 hours in just to even get a decent paycheck.
Right.
So
Now let me go back.
From there,
let some people know let some people know where you're located, so they can understand,
So I'm
that
in
mountain.
Ohio.
Okay. So she's in Ohio.
Yeah. So we're talking, like I said, 17, 18 years ago. That was the pay. It was about 7 something an hour, which was minimum wage at that time in the state of Ohio. And that's what they paid us. So they didn't pay us above minimum wage. They paid us exactly at minimum wage. And that's what we worked a lot. We worked really hard to make a decent living. And it wasn't even decent. It was just like, it was what it was at that time. So a couple years of that, and I'm just trying to figure out, okay, like I need to be doing something else. I need to figure out a way up out of this. And it wasn't because I thought I was going to be doing a home care agency. That's just the field I was in. I actually was going to start a child care business.
Okay.
So I was doing the paperwork for that. I figured because my kids was young, I was going to stay at home, do like a little child care in my home, and do it that way. So I was like already set to go with that. And a family that I was working with, actually the mother was like, you could become an independent provider. And, and just mind you, these are waiver type agencies. So it wasn't a private duty. I wasn't a home health aide. It's called a direct care specialist. So that's what I was. So the mother of that family shared information about becoming an independent provider, which basically you're cutting out the middleman. I was going to be working for myself. I couldn't hire anybody else. So it wasn't that. I just could work for myself and I could make more money. So I think at that time I ended up doing it. And I would end up making like around 16 something an hour at that time. So I would
jumped like $10.
I probably had started making. Exactly. I mean, I had started making about like $9 or $10 at that time. So I went from that to $16 an hour. So then it was like, it was crazy. I was like, oh, I'm on. Like, you know what I mean? I'm 20 years old. I'm like, I'm on. I'm making 16 an hour. I work for myself. I just thought that was like, yes. And then I ended up going back to college.
Okay.
And so because I had that free time. I had that free time to be able to go to college and raise my kids at the same time. Okay. So I was able to do that. I was in college. I ended up at that time, I had just got my associates in business administration. So I ended up getting that. So I'm probably about like 21, I want to say at the time. So I was living a whole full life, honey. I'm talking about kids, college, work. It was like a full life, but I'm 21. So I did the independent, got my associates, and then probably not even a year later, I start looking into like like I know it's agencies out here. How do I do that? Because I can work so much, but that's not going to be enough. I need to figure out a way to hire even just a couple people, and we just double this, triple this up. That's all I was thinking at the time, is hiring a couple people, whatever that looked like, having them work some clients, I work some clients, and that was going to be the bomb.com. You hear what I'm saying? Like, I thought that was going to be it for me. And I did. I started the agency. I was still in college. I ended up getting my bachelor's at the time in business management. So I completed that. I hired a couple of people, and you know, my first year, I did like 100,000 my first year. And mind you, this was like new. You know what I mean? I was 21.
So
I
hold
couldn't
up.
believe it.
So wait a minute. You telling me your first year being a CEO, you made six figures?
I made six figures my first year. Year one. Year one, I made six figures.
So, can you repeat it for the people in the back?
I made six figures year one. The first, as soon as I did it, and I didn't have a lot of clients. It wasn't that. I had a few staff. I had a few clients, and I was a staff myself. I had to work in my company too. You know what I mean? Because that was my mind frame still. Like, we all about to just, work this thing. And and the rest was history.
So were these private clients or Medicaid clients?
Medicaid. So they were all Medicaid. So my company now is a Medicaid waiver agency. What does that mean for somebody that is a newbie? They're holding their application, and they may not even be in Ohio, but they're holding their application and they're like, okay, I just want to get started. What does it mean to be a Medicaid waiver provider? Yeah, so the difference, I usually categorize the different type of agencies by, they say non-medical. To me, it's more like, which is what I do. I do non-medical, but there's private duty. There's non-medical, meaning I don't really provide any medical type nursing services, but we can. So I won't say that. We can have a nurse. We can put in, different therapies, things like that. And then there's the Medicaid, Medicare accredited home health agency. So that's the big one, where you have nursing services, skilled services. So it's that one. So I'm in the middle. Mine is Medicaid. Every state is the same. Every state has a Medicaid program for people who need, who have developmental disabilities, mental health. The list goes on. Seniors, there's a program in every state, and they're ran very similar. So that's why I get people from out of state that I assist with their home care agencies, because it's pretty much the same as far as, Medicaid go. Each state gonna have their own, maybe different little set of regulations, but they pretty much run all the same. But I specialize in working with people with developmental disabilities, and I have group homes. So I have 10 group homes. And in those homes, it can range from one person to 4 people.
Now let me hover over that, because I did group homes too.
Okay.
When you say group homes, again, I'm a newbie. What do you mean? I thought you can only provide service to people in their house. What you talking about, group home?
Yeah.
What's the group and what's the home? Can you explain that?
So that is a Medicaid program. People who need residential services, specifically if they're developmental disabled. There are programs. Now every state is different. I will say that, because some states you have to get licensed. Some don't even offer licensing anymore. And then some states like Ohio, I don't have a licensed group home. What it is the clients or the individuals that we serve, they need residential supports. So they have a specific waiver, a homemaker personal care waiver, and in that waiver, they have so many dollars that are geared towards the different services they need. And one of those could be residential. So, and it's a whole list of programs. I mean, the list goes on and on and on as far as what you can actually do. But for me, my niche is group homes.
Wait a minute. Terry said, have you found that there's flexibility in reimbursement from Medicare? She's not doing Medicare, Terry. She's only doing Medicaid.
Yeah.
Did you mean Medicaid or Medicare? She's not doing Medicare.
Yeah, Medicare is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Medicare that's your accredited type home health agencies. So that's why I always say home care versus home health, because to distinguish the difference between the two. Home health is, like I said, more medical. Home care is more non-medical, but it could be, it can be medical services. So yeah, Medicaid. So no, the rates are not flexible. They're set.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So guys, whether you're an existing agency or an aspiring agency owner, Terry asked a good question for the community. Have you found that there's flexibility in reimbursement rate for Medicaid? So just as Jessica is saying, Medicaid is fixed. Private is flexible.
Yes.
Again, Medicaid is fixed. So Medicaid is issued, guys, per state. So your state has a fixed rate that you have to just accept. Like, you got to just, accept it. There's no negotiation. Even if you go to a client's home and you're like, oh, it's, I thought they only had 2 issues, but they got a whole 10 issues.
Right.
You can't say, oh, excuse me, governor, excuse me, comptroller, I'm gonna need you to add an additional blah, blah, blah to this reimbursement rate. They're gonna be like, nope, that's it. Yeah. You serve them, or, they get served by somebody else.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because you can get clients that have more medical needs versus somebody who's independent, but that rate is going to be the same. Now, they do offer different rates, like say the client had behaviors or something, so there's like a behavior rate or something like that.
There's different rates. There's different rates for the different programs, and that's why Jessica is saying waiver. And I know what you mean, but like I said, can you explain it for the people in the back? Why are you saying waiver? You kind of explained it with the disability, but can you kind of explain a little bit what that means for the people in the back?
Yeah, so I'll look at it like this. With Medicaid, and say you need child care services and you're receiving Medicaid. Mm-hmm. The child care funding that they give you is actually a Medicaid program. So these are programs through Medicaid. They give clients a waiver, that's a set of money to use for a specific service. Mm-hmm. So that's what waiver means. It's a set of money used for a specific program, whatever the program that they're in. That's what they'll give you that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. And that's and so when Jessica said, she can help people across states, is because there is it's pretty much cookie cutter when you get to that Medicaid level, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
The states kind of change. They may change 2 or 3 things. Meaning like, oh, we want you to have a CPR card. We want your workers to have a CPR card and a first aid card and first aid. Or they may say, oh, well, you only have to have first aid. It will depend on the program.
Yes.
Hence, it depends on the waiver. So what Jessica is saying is that, just in case you guys are just joining and somebody's asking for your services, how much your service, if somebody is just joining, then know that, she mentioned disability. She mentioned a couple of programs that she's in. So Medicaid is the umbrella. The different waivers and programs are how you get paid, guys.
Yes.
That is how you get paid. So you can't, if you only apply for one thing or underneath your umbrella, then you can't get paid from the other things. So let's say your umbrella can hold 5 people, but you only have one person underneath there. Then
Yeah.
that's the lower program. Then you're only going to get paid for that.
Yeah, the thing about that is there's going to be a number of people, you know, who need that specific waiver. You know what I mean? There's going to be people who, you know, maybe they want to go to, you know, for the seniors. If you're working with seniors, you know, you're going to be doing homemaker services or personal care services. Like, it's endless. Now with seniors, the rate is lower versus working with developmental disabled, but with seniors, there's going to be a lot more clients.
Yeah.
So there's a trade-off there. There's a trade-off.
Yeah, and also with the developmental guys, if you guys are interested in that, just know that, you know, Jessica has a non-medical agency, correct, Jessica? You're
Yeah, I don't really call it non-medical because some people kind of confuse that with like private care and things like that. It's just a waiver agency.
but you don't have LPNs or RNs. That's what I mean.
We do. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Yes,
gotcha. I'm sorry.
that's why
Okay.
I say you can have the RNs. It's not necessary. That's what I will say.
But the reason why I have to say it like that, because guys, Jessica is in Ohio, and Ohio is technically a non-regulated state, but it's only non-regulated if you're doing private pay.
Yeah.
She is regulated as a Medicaid provider.
Correct.
So a reason why I had to break it down between medical and non-medical is because in other states, if you have a non-medical agency, you can't have LPNs and RNs.
Right.
They have that split, you know, they make you apply differently.
Yeah.
So that's why some people choose the non-medical, because it's easier and they don't have access to an RN anyway.
Yeah.
So with that being said, can you go over that, how you learned to do the Medicaid program, even though Ohio is the 4 states that are non-regulated, but you're regulated as a Medicaid provider.
Correct. We are regulated. How I learned though, honey, trial and error. I didn't have a mentor. You know, it really wasn't a lot of people that I knew, or I didn't even know anybody actually when I started my agency who even nothing. I didn't know another. I knew that agencies were big. The owners you probably never would see. And that's all I knew. So mine was learned by trial and error. Every program has a whole rule list of regulations and things like that you need to interpret into your own business. So a lot of that, and even now as the programs get updated with new rules, things like that, I've always taken a look at that, because new agencies that I assist with, like, they have to know that new information, as well as my agency, because I'm still up and running myself. So you always want to look at those rules that are in effect for that program that you're doing, so you can follow them, because you're going to get compliance reviews from the state or from the county. So you have to stay in compliance through Medicaid and whatever program that you're dealing with. So
now, other than Ohio, what states have you helped people in as far as get licensed? And I'm going to go back up to the questions, guys, because I'm going to be stopped very soon.
Yeah, so Florida, Georgia, Florida, Texas. I'm sure there's been a few more. Was somebody in New York? Obviously, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a few, so I've been around.
Speaking of New York, is Carl? This might be a little bit long for him. Carl, are you still up here? Are you still in the building? I saw Carl popped in. So, let me make sure I didn't miss a question. Okay, so I want to give a shout out, Terry, Guardian Home Care in Gainesville, Florida. If you're just joining in, initially we said if you are an existing home care agency, please drop the name of your agency in the comments. And if you are an aspiring home care CEO, please drop your name of the city and state in the comments. We want to shout everybody out and give, so that we make sure we're addressing some, things that you really, really need. So let me, while I'm waiting for that, and like I said, I'm about to get ready to stop. Jessica, uh, let me hover back to the group homes. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that looks like? As far as how many hours a day are you serving those kind of clients?
Yeah, so every client is going to be different and their needs are going to be different too. So you can have clients who you're serving 24/7 with, and then you have
Mm-hmm.
some where, they go to maybe a day program or a job during the day. So
Mm-hmm.
you're, there, second shift and overnight and then all day on the weekend. But if they're in a residential setting and you're the residential provider, you have to be available for whatever hours that they need. So if they don't go to work that day or day program that day, you have to have staff there to cover those hours. Not every client needs round the clock services. Some need to be in a residential setting, but they have alone time where you don't have to be there. Staff doesn't have to be there all day with them. So every client, it's not a picture that I can say this is what this looks like, because it's going to look different for every agency, because every client is different.
Okay, so what you're saying is that for the group home clients that you serve, the shifts are not set or fixed. Is that correct?
No, they're set and fixed, but you just have to be available. So my examples was, it could be 24/7. Like, say one house is 24/7. That don't mean that the next house might just be, during the daytime or, in the evening, so it's set because that's what the waiver dollars are paying for. So you already know what you're going to have to provide. The only point that I'm making is some clients go to day programs or they have a community job, so they're not there during the day. So that wouldn't make it 24/7. But let's say their services say that they don't have alone time or something like that. So if they don't go to a day program or a community job, somebody has to still be there with them. So that's why so it's not a one thing, you know what I mean? So it's hard to explain that. It's really on a case by case basis with clients and how you plan to do your agency, because maybe you want in your agency, all you want is independent clients, and you don't want to serve them all through the year, all through the week. So you get more independent, but then you have more clients that need more medical assistance. So you are there 24/7. So that's really hounding in on your niche, on what specifically that you want to do and how you want to serve your clients in your agency. And for that type of group of people. That's a good
Okay.
question. Tracy just asked, do I own my group homes of the people that I service? So yes, I do. So I actually own the properties that my clients are in. So yes.
Excellent. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's why you said it like that. Okay, because I was thinking the group homes that I serve are always 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, are always
Okay.
24
Yeah, it
hours.
just varies on the client.
Well, that's because we're doing skill. I'm a skill agency, so it's always 24 hours. So, um, but like Jessica said, it differs. Let me
Yeah.
just address. Okay, we have purposely underscore blessed 17 that's in Virginia. She's an aspiring home care CEO. Bonnie 1979 is in Duluth, Georgia.
Okay.
We have Maureen Men's 4412 is an aspiring New Jersey and Pennsylvania CEO. We have Severia 2 is agency is First Class Healthcare in England. Thank you for UK for watching. We have KK Freedom Services is Graciously Aging Home Care, waiting on her PA license. Okay, we pray that that happens soon. Nurse on Name One is an inspiring CEO in Detroit, Michigan. And make sure I addressed everything. So did we answer? So you need more. So KK Freedom Services says, so you need more billable hours with Medicaid to see a profit. Yes, and yes, and yes, 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 yes. Is there a difference? And Tracy versus Tracy, group home, DDA, and personal home care. Is there a difference? Do you want to answer that?
Is it a difference? I didn't catch the question.
She's asking if there's a difference between the group home versus the disability and personal care home.
I'm not sure what that
me
is.
neither.
Yeah.
Me neither. That's why I gave it to you. Nurse on Name, that's for how much is your service. Drop your information in the comments. Let's see. Okay, and we have Anna Alicia _Washington. I hope I spelled your name right. I'm in Ohio, and I want to know how much it is to become an agency provider. We got Superior Health Services in Southfield, Michigan. Thanks for dropping by. We got Purposely Blessed in Woodbridge, Virginia. I just love Sterling. We got Tracy versus Tracy, Network Home Care Agency. Anna Alicia, I think I'm pronouncing your name right. Apologize if I'm not, in Cleveland, Ohio. Surveya Family Ties LLC, Ohio provider in the building. I'm just making sure I address everybody. Okay, Terry is asking, and who determines the needs? And RN does the assessment.
Nope.
You want to answer that?
Yeah. So
I think you meant for the group home.
Yeah. So so every client has what is called a support administrator. But before they even are assigned a support administrator, the Medicaid program will do the assessment on their needs. So it's not like if you were, that's just one of the programs. But if you were, let's say, starting with the seniors, then you would have an RN that do assessments on that. But most of the time, a plan is created, so they don't have to necessarily get a nursing assessment, but they already have a diagnosis from a doctor. So as far as the developmental disabled, they'll already have that diagnosis. The family or guardian or somebody will apply for Medicaid to receive that specific waiver, and then then they get hooked up with that program that's in their county. And then from the county, they say they they put it out on a portal and agency providers like myself and others will, what do you call it? Because I don't really like bid for the client, so to speak, like interview for the client.
Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you're explaining it like that. In other states like mine and ones I've worked with, they don't break it down by the county. But I think it's really key that Jessica is pointing out these differences, because Ohio, like I said, is a non-regulated state in regards to needing a home care license. But and so that's why she's a Medicaid provider. So all of her rules and her actions are according to the Medicaid program. So for me, or for you, Terry, yes, an RN, just like Jessica said, they already have their diagnosis. They already have their, let's just say, mental health condition. But the agency in a regulated state still has to send an RN out to do an assessment. They still have to send an RN out to verify the orders and to get a home care order from the state. Not from the state, from the doctor. And the doctor has to agree to the treatments and the procedures and if there's any medication. That's on the medical side. On the non-medical side, the RN still has to do an assessment, and the doctor has to, agree with that private duty nursing or any kind of home care services to be done, and whatever a home care aide or CNA does has to be underneath the supervision of an RN. And so hopefully I explained that. I said we were answering 3 more questions. Let me see if there's anybody else who asked a question, who didn't already ask a question. How are non-medical home health agencies able to accept other insurances such as Blue Cross? You want to answer that?
Yeah, so home health agencies, like I said, when you're accredited, well, it's 2 parts to that. If you're an accredited Medicaid, Medicare home health agency, you can add on additional insurances. And if you're not, you can become credentialed. So that's a lot of people don't do, and that's a simple thing to do. You become credentialed with the different insurances out there, and it doesn't cost you anything to do that. But they too have their own set of regulations that you have to follow. You become credentialed and you're able to bill Blue Cross and, other different agencies, insurance agencies to do that. So there's 2 ways you can accept other insurances. A lot of people, they're just trying to figure out how to even do an agency. They don't even know about the credentialing part with accepting other insurances as well.
That is so true. That's a key word. If we're going to write down vocabulary for today as CEOs, credential. So when you're in a regulated state, you're applying to be verified. When you become a Medicaid provider, you're applying to be verified. A verified Medicaid provider. When you want to get into these additional third-party payers and insurance companies, you are becoming credentialed with them. They have their own set of credentials. So that was a great answer.
Yep.
And then Yada Baby said, very helpful. Didn't know we could become credentialed.
Absolutely.
Yes. And they have a waiting list, so you should definitely find out what are the qualifications for that. And just so happened that Jessica, she had to complete policies to become a Medicaid provider. But if you're in a state like Michigan or Massachusetts or Iowa and you're providing services and you don't have any policies or procedures, then when you go to get credentialed and they're asking you for certain policies and procedures, you're going to be scrambling because you're going to need to have those.
Well, you should always have policies and procedures, whether you're non-medical, medical, private, it doesn't even matter. You always should have policies and procedures to govern the way you operate your organization. So that's important.
Yeah. Okay. And Terry said, I've only ever done private clients. Good group home sounds interesting, but not sure that's his niche. Yeah, Terry does really well with private clients.
Gotcha.
So, okay, guys. Well, it looks like we can wrap up here. I really thank you guys for joining me midday. And if it's your first time watching me live, don't let it be your last. Please turn on notifications. I want to make sure that you know how I'm out, so I didn't get a chance to put my phone on do not disturb, so I was getting a call. Can we can they know how to reach you, Miss Jessica?
Yeah, so you can reach me right on my Instagram at CEO_Jessica K, and K is spelled out KAY. So you can reach me on there, or my website. My website is www.justjessconsult.com, and on there you can get a 10-minute free consultation, where you can sign up and get on the schedule, where, you know, we'll just talk about, you know, you can share what your ideas, what you thinking you're trying to do, or whatever the case may be, and we'll do a quick consultation. And if it's some services or advising or consulting that I can assist with, I'm very happy to do that. I want us all to win, so that's exactly why I'm here.
All right. Thanks so much, guys. And the replay will stay up for just a little bit. So if you want to go back to the beginning, if not, if you're in the Home Care CEO mentorship or membership training, then you will get this information in the portal or in the Facebook group. All righty.
Well, thank you for having me. I so appreciate it.
You're more than welcome, and we'll be seeing you again. So
absolutely. Bye.
Bye.